Hello everyone, welcome to my 702 Protection Paladin PvP guide. I'll first go through Protection Paladin background, a bit on the performance. I'll then go through the most important abilities of rotation, some tips and tricks. The new artifact traits and talents will also come. For people who already watched the 7105 PvP guide, a summary and thoughts about changes between 7105 and 702 will be at the end. I personally played Protection most of the 7105 patch. I was able to reach up to 2.8k in TV2 as a Protection Paladin and a whole Left Knight. I didn't play much 3-3 or Rated Battleground, and I reached about 1.8k in both of them. Protection is much better in TV2 compared to 3-3, and the reason for that is that we have a problem to keep people at high health, since our healing is stronger the lower our friendly target is. We could easily get CC'd when our friendly target is low, and then, if the enemy got 2 DPS, we won't be able to out-heal the damage taken. Our whole DK works well in 2v2 with us, because they're a tank class, and we prefer to play with tank classes or classes that can kite a lot, such as Windwalker. However, for 3v3, Protection Paladin wants to play with a healer, an offensive healer, and a high pressure DPS. As a Protection Paladin, our CC is great. We both have a silence and a stun being available quite often. We also have great support with healing, through Hand Protector, or support as in the form of freedom. We do however lack damage, and that's the reason we need a DPS and a healer who can put out good pressure. A thing different this season is that dampening started 20% for 2v2. I'm not certain if it affects us in a good or bad way. A bad thing about it is that before we usually had the beginning of the battle leading to the enemy going but now with dampening all at 20%, we could have problems surviving long enough for the enemy healer to go completely however, most of the times our kills wasn't through the man of the enemy healer. It was instead that we had like a good CC chain and got kills through that. Faster games will happen for sure, and in my opinion it's quite nice, instead of having 10 minute plus games as we did in the early stages of Legion. So now, to talk about important abilities and the main part of rotation. The 3 most important abilities to keep track of is Judgment, Sheer Righteous and Hand Protector. Judgment is one of the most important abilities. It heals if you get talent Judgment of the Pure. It also reduces the cooldown on Sheer Righteous. Our PvP template have a high amount of haste and crit, which leads to many judgments. That leads to many Sheer Righteous, and those will in turn, through the talent Righteous Protector, lower the cooldown on Hand Protector, which is our main heal. A lot of judgments will through Fist of Justice reduce the cooldown on Hammer of Justice, which leads to our stun being up very often. So, let's talk about the template this season. It's actually very strong because of stat increase. Stats are as if we're equipped with 900 item level. It means we have about 40% haste, 29% crit, our mastery is at 13%, we have 8% versatility, the haste and crit especially is what makes it much stronger this season. Haste leads to many judgments and a lot of Sheer Righteous. Crits on judgments lead to Sheer Righteous CD being reduced even more. That will in turn lead to our main heal and Protector being usable very often. About debuffs on our abilities in BP, we do have a few of those. Our Avenging Shield and Sheer Righteous deals 50% of normal damage. Our Hand Protector and Light Protector heals 35% less in PP. The healing of Hand Protector was reduced halfway through last season. Originally, the reduction was 15%. It is still very strong, and we are still viable as support role. Our strength, stamina and damage are also nerfed a bit in PP. I'm not certain the exact percent, you can rather feel the damage being quite low. Now, let's talk about Tracy in 702, and which paths I will personally suggest going for. One change in 702 that was great for us is attack now gets 0.65% damage each trait we purchase, instead of 0.5%. A small but good buff, it will increase our scaling as we get more traits. New traits in 702 are fairly underwhelming in my opinion, at least after the nerf that Blessed Stalwart received. It is now 8% instead of 25%. I would suggest starting with Scatter the Shadows, because Hand Protector is probably the main thing that makes us viable. Many of our other traits only help ourselves and give us a tiny bit more damage. So the Righteous Crusader, Faith Armor, or even our new elite trait Blessed Stalwart. We want to start with traits that help our teammates, since many people in 3-3 settings, and even 2v2, choose to ignore us and target their teammates instead. After Scatter Shadows, go for Stern Judgment. More crit is great for Judgment, since it is our main damage ability, and also crit on Judgment leads to more Hand Protector being cast. After those two, I would suggest going for Elite trait. We cast Judgment a lot, so it's almost 8% permanent uptime, damage and damage reduction on shield radius, which ain't too bad. After that, Radius Crusader is the best. It stacks up well with other buffs to shield radius. Then after that I would suggest Face Armor. It's great with more armor when we're low, because that could help us survive stuns, etc. Bastion of Truth is great for blocks, and that means good survival. It combos well with Holy Shield. Unflinching Defense is great after that, because of Painful Truth and Defender of Truth. Our Defender is now fairly good defensive, but also offensive ability, at least on our melee targets that is. Resolve of Truth is a tiny bit more health, which is still good. As the second last, I would take Consecration in Flames before Hammer time. Even if we move out of Consecration a lot, and the last second won't matter most of the time, it can be very valuable if you get stunned with Shield Righteous up, since Consecration remaining under us leaves the Shield Righteous having its 20% buff. We also save a few globals so we don't have to cast Consecration as much. Lastly, I would take Hammer time. We barely have time to cast Hammer's Righteous, and it deals a tiny bit of damage, so the 5% increase won't matter in most cases. So now, on with the talents. I'll go through the talents and give some quick notes on why I would suggest going for different ones. For the first tier, Holy Shield versus Blessed Hammer versus Consecrated Hammer. For this tier, I would suggest going Holy Shield all the time. Blessed Hammer affects auto hits, which ain't a big source of damage in PP. Consecrated Hammer ain't too good, because we don't have the time to use Hammer's Righteous. Holy Shield is great for magic defense and it's good damage against dots. It's also helpful for damage against melee blocks. For the second tier, first Avenger versus Blessing of Light versus Crusader's Judgment. Crusader's Judgment is the best for this tier. Judgment is our main hitting ability, and it's great since it reduces CD on Shield Righteous. First Avenger ain't good, because Avenger's shield is nerfed in PP, and Blessing of Light got a bit too long CD. Free charges ain't much these days either, because of our high haste in PP. For the third tier, Face of Justice versus Repentance versus Blinding Light. In this tier, Face of Justice is great to pick. Repentance or Blinding Light could work for some great CC chains in certain combos, but because we cast Judgment so much, Face of Justice is superior in my opinion, depending on comp though. For the fourth tier, Blessing of Spellwarding versus Cavalier versus Retribution Aura. Blessing of Spellwarding is great against casters, while Cavalier is good if you need extra mobility. When I go in for a CC, put the kite away. Retribution Aura is thankfully fixed its patch and is great for some small additional damage versus melee targets. In this tier, it depends on what you prefer and what you face. For the fifth tier, Hand Protector versus Knight Templar versus Final Stand. In this tier, the best is Hand Protector by far. Final Stand does nothing for us in PP, and Knight Templar ain't good enough to be considered picking. Maybe in certain rated battleground situations, but Hand Protector is so superior that being able to heal others and have a lower cooldown is the best pick you should take. For the sixth tier, Aegis of Light versus Consecrated Ground versus Judgment of Light. In this tier, I go for Judgment of Light, especially since it's got buffed in 702. It no longer has a 1 second cooldown on its proc. Consecrated Ground could work with Half Ground and the PB talent. It could create some cool kiting combos, or just if you need it to kite away with a slow. But you move out of consecration so often, so it's usually not worth picking. Aegis of Light ain't the best for PP, and should not be picked. For the 7th tier, Righteous Protector versus Seraphim versus Last Defender. For this tier, I would suggest Righteous Protector. We have so much haste in PP, so it scales very well. Seraphim and Last Defender aren't strong enough compared to the benefit of having our Hand Protector ready so often. Seraphim could perhaps find use in a burst scenario for free, but I still prefer Righteous Protector. So, onto the PP talents. For the first tier, Gladius Medallion versus Adaptation versus Relentless. For this tier, I would go Relentless. Adaptation seems a bit too easy for the enemy to proc in the wrong time, and Gladiator's Medallion have a bit too long cooldown. Relentless is always active and is really helpful against the long CC chains when we or our partner is low on health, which usually is constantly. For the second tier, Relentless Assault versus Inquisition versus Soften Blows. Without Soften Blows, you are very squishy. I mostly go with Soften Blows, but if it's an enemy team with a lot of bleed damage, or if you are playing 3v3, you might want to change to Inquisition. It's very helpful damage for your team. Relentless Assault is not worth it, since if the enemy ignores you, it won't be active, and 15% damage increase for yourself ain't too much since our damage on our own is rather lacking. the first tier, Shield of Virtue versus Unbound Freedom versus Warrior of Light. For this tier, I choose Shield of Virtue, because silence is very useful and quite rare these days in PP. Freedom movement speed ain't enough, and Warrior of Light makes a low hitting ability hit a bit more, which ain't enough either, so it also makes us lose active defenses, which we really need. For the fourth tier, Holy Ritual versus Cleansing Light versus Luminous. I go with the Holy Ritual, because they're great additional healing. Cleansing Light could work in a 3-3 against a rogue or Death Knight enemy team. Luminous could be useful if you play with a healer, also in 3-3 for great AoE healing. There are choices here, but mostly I personally stick with Holy Ritual. Fifth tier, Hallowed Ground versus Guarded by Light versus Sacred Duty. In this tier, I choose Sacred Duty, because lower CD on Blessing of Spellwarding, Sacrifice or Protection is great. Guarded by Light, however, is a bit more viable dispatch because of our high haste, since it won't be as hard to get a few flash of lights off every now and then. But if the enemy targets you, you still won't find much time to cast. Holy Ground could work great if your team is in need of pillar kiting, suppressing snares, etc. There are interesting choices here, so it's up to you. For the 6th tier, Judgment of the Pure versus Seed of Glory versus Guardian of the Forgotten Queen. I usually go with Judgment of the Pure, however in 7.2 it has been fixed to no longer heal a target for 2% of maximum health. It also gets reduced by dampening. It also appears to target the lowest health part member. Thanks to high haste, we cast a lot of judgment, so it's still very good extra healing. But Guardian of the Forgotten Queen is a very strong defensive that could really save us or our teammates. It also makes the target completely immune, unlike damage shield, not only against damage. It's a choice of if you want healing or time or another great support button. Seed of Glory is also a viable choice if you combine it with other talents. Great for escaping from tough situation, and also helps against kiting, which we usually have to suffer in PP. It could also be used as an interrupt since it's a knockback. It might also be the best pick for Raid Battleground since it helps a movement. All in all, this tier got many choices for different situations and playstyles. So experiment around with it and see what works best for you. So, about changes in 7.2 compared to 7.1.5. There are a lot of nice changes in 7.2, even if most are small and not noticeable. The biggest non-direct change is the stat increase to 900 item level for PP template. Our haste is very big, it's at 40%, which leads to such a big uptime on sheer righteous and many hand detector casts. The additional point you can put in most of your traits is nice, but other specs get good traits as well, so not sure how much better it will feel. The increased damage we get each trait is great. It makes us scale better and might make us feel stronger late in the season when we get more traits. Some talents are fixed, like the Tibution Aura working, and Judgment of Light not having any cooldown anymore. Great when we play with people hitting quickly. Judgment of the Pure got changed, or well fixed in 7.2. It now heals for the amount it says, and not 2% of people's maximum health as it did before. And it targets the lowest health party member instead of the nearest target. It is now also affected by dampening, so it ain't as good as before. I overall think that this season will be interesting. I'm going to aim to play with different specs to get more variety and see if I can find something interesting that works with Protection Paladin, when Holy has been proven to be great. If you have any comment, thoughts or questions, feel free to leave a comment. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more.